bodybuilding, and once they introduced the women's physique division, I saw the opportunity, so I went ahead and competed in the women's physique division.
I feel like a lot of former bodybuilders really liked that option. I remember when I started in figure, it was a new division, and a lot of the bodybuilders that maybe didn't have the potential or didn't want to get that big or that muscular really liked having an option to, shape their physique and train the way they wanted to, the way their genetics maybe were better built for. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Starting out in bodybuilding, I'm only 5'1", and my competition weight was like about 109. So of course, when I show up, it was always, you look so small, but small people come, they're very powerful.
That's very true.
Yeah, but even though I was small, I still won in bodybuilding. So hey, but it was an opportunity definitely for women's physique.
That's a great example of where it is the illusion, right, too, of your physique. You don't have to be huge. It's your proportions. Do you have, that crazy illusion and that crazy shape? And, as we get more into like women's physique and bodybuilding, there's a certain look that we like. It's the round, full muscle bellies. You see you've got nice tiny little joints here and stuff, which makes the flow and the curve of the muscle into the joint. It just makes the whole shape almost look like a cartoon character, which is, it's
correct.
Pretty, it's proportional, and you don't have to be, super big to pull off that great look. So let's talk about femininity in women's physique. How do you accomplish a nice, pretty feminine look in, a division that, is more skewed towards bodybuilding almost?
Well, you definitely get an opportunity to dress it up a little bit more in women's physique than you do bodybuilding. The suits are different. You get to bling out your suits. You get to wear jewelry. You get to do your hair a little bit different in terms of women's physique. So definitely, and the poses themselves are not so hard where you're squeezing every single muscle in your body. Of course, you're squeezing, but there's certain poses where, from elbow down, your arms is relaxed. And just the poses in general, I felt like they're the softer side of bodybuilding. They just make you look a bit more feminine.
I agree. It's definitely, a woman's pose. The open hands and things, it creates really nice angles and softens the pose up. So we don't have shoes.
Correct.
Don't have to worry about that, which is nice. But you talked a little bit about the jewelry. What do you think about jewelry for women's physique?
You want to keep it simple and elegant. You don't want to put jewelry on where when you get on stage, we're seeing your jewelry before we see your physique. Definitely don't overdo it. Just keep it nice and elegant and simple. So when I compete, one bracelet, maybe 1 or 2 rings, and that's just, and your earrings, of course. Don't overdo it. Just keep it simple. You want the judges to see your physique before they see your jewelry at all times.
Exactly. Suits. What do you think for suits? Because they're kind of like, they could be like figure suits. You can get a little bit different with the designs and the stoning. What do you think looks best on a women's physique stage?
Well, definitely you wanted to have stones. That sparkling on stage just makes it looks better than something that is plain and simple. So definitely nice design, nice color. You definitely want to make the color complement your skin. It's not every color that you see someone has on, that's for you. I always say get a piece of fabric, put it up against your skin tone, and make sure that color itself complements your skin tone. That's very, very important because I've seen competitors who get up there and they have something on and it's just too dark against their skin. You don't want it way too bright, but you want it to complement your skin tone at the same time.
And as far as fit and wearing your suit, I feel like one of the critiques I give people a lot too in this division is not having their suit up high enough.
Yeah, you definitely want to bring your suit up against, on your waistline. Don't have it too low. You want to make it also bringing your suit up high creates an illusion, and it actually makes your waist look smaller. So definitely have it up high on your waist. Nice V taper in the back, and yeah.
Now, what about tan? What do you recommend for tan?
Well, you need to tan, period. Do not get up there without having a tan on because it makes your skin look uniform when you get your tan done. Get it done by a professional. Don't try to do it yourself if you're not experienced in doing it, because you can definitely cause streaks in your skin, or sometimes the tan itself is bad. And I've seen individual on stage where it's looked like this greenish color other than this brownish brown, color. So definitely get it done by a pro.
And that brings up a good point, is skin prep. Like whatever company you go with, make sure you check their website, follow their skin prep, use their products. If they say not to use something, like don't use, certain lotions, don't use this deodorant, don't do it. It definitely affects the color of the tan. It can affect your pH. So for any tan, I would say that's really important. Follow the instructions to a T. Let's see, makeup. What do you think about makeup?
Have it done by a professional, okay? I know everybody thinks, oh, I can do it myself, but when you get on the stage, that light hits you and it's totally different, right? So you want to have someone who has experience doing stage makeup. Check them out in advance, look at their pictures that they've done with past clients. Just don't get someone and you don't check their profile. But that's with anything in life, right? If you're going to hire someone, make sure you check out their background. It's the same for your makeup, right?
That is a great point. Always look at their work. Even a suit designer, right? You don't want somebody, you're their guinea pig. Look at their suits. Who's worn them? Have they been successful? Does it look right on their physique? Always research that stuff. And then what do you suggest for hair for women's physiques? There's a lot of different posing and stuff, a lot more to consider, but we still want a feminine look. So what do you suggest for that?
Okay, well, first you need something that you are comfortable with. I've seen individuals do it short, do it long, but do something that you're comfortable with. But at the same time, make sure it looks good. Make sure that it makes you look gorgeous on stage. Just don't do something basic, right? And a lot of the girls, they tend to wear their hair long. So if you're going to do it long, make sure that when you're posing, that you're practicing moving your hair. For me, when I went to the Olympia, I kept it short, so it was shoulder length, a bob cut, so I didn't have to do that. But that's just me and my choice, right? And of course, I got people's opinion in terms of my hair and how it looks as well, too. I asked judges, right, if my hair complement my physique, and they were okay with it, so I proceeded with that. So get some sort of feedback as far as your hair is concerned. Just don't say, oh, I look good like this, and that's it, the end all be all. No, ask someone for feedback.
And again, the goal is nice, healthy looking hair that flatters you, that you're confident in. One more thing I think it's good to mention here, I don't know if it was mentioned before, is about extensions. You're gonna get extensions, put them in your hair, practice with it. Try to make sure everything blends. You don't have to go super expensive on extensions. I wore them myself, like from Sally Beauty Supply. You can get them for like 150 bucks. But make sure your hair blends, because if you've got short hair and it's here and then your extensions are down here, that's detracting from your look. I think in any division, you just don't wear them. Like, you're probably better off without it. So make sure it's an enhancement to your overall look versus making you worse off. What else would you say just about the overall just look of women's physique, how to keep it feminine, and any suggestions as far as that?
Well, like I said, it's the pose. It comes down to the posing, and that's something that you need to practice. And there's different tweaks to the poses as well to make them your own. But just overall, your overall presentation in terms of your makeup, your hair, your suit, it matters. Presentation matters. Yes, you may have a nice body, the nice muscle, the symmetry, and everything like that. But if your presentation doesn't look good, then it's just going to throw you off. So spend time getting the right color suit, making sure that the makeup is perfect for you, that your hair and your jewelry and all those things match. It matters a whole lot, and it just makes you look better.
I think that's a good point too. If you tend to maybe be too much, like, some girls are coming down from bodybuilding, or maybe they're just not exactly to the criteria yet, you can make yourself look more feminine and more streamlined and more sleek just by your look. It's crazy how the right suit, wearing something the right way and making sure you've got all these details covered can help you come off, more fit for the criteria in the division. So on that note, Billy, come out and just talk about what we expect. And we're getting more into talking about conditioning and stuff. This is a more conditioned division.
Yes, in the women's physique division here, we're still looking for
Dianne,
balance, top to bottom. We want a nice shoulder to waist taper. We want nice, clean lines, good separation. Conditioning wise, we want leaner in this division. We want to see some striations. You know, we don't want it too dense, too muscular, not quite to the level of bodybuilding, but conditioning close to that same amount. You know, the difference usually is that muscularity and that density between the two. In this division, you have five mandatory poses plus your relaxed poses. The relaxed poses are so important to get you in that first call out. That's our first look at you ladies, is these quarter turns, you know. So what we're looking for here, top to bottom balance, you know, front to back balance, good muscle definition, good muscle development, more density than the figure, but not quite as dense and hard as the women's bodybuilding. Now, if you do a quarter turn to the right, these are the same poses that you saw in the figure. Everything shoulders even. Nothing's really changing. Nothing's different. Good posture, up nice. Make sure you're flexing your legs. Quarter turn to the right. You don't have the heels now, so you have to be a little more concerned with flexing, you know, especially the glutes and the hamstrings and the tie-ins. Right there, once again, I'd like to see her lean back just a hair because we'd be here in this front row looking up so she's not away from us. Quarter turn to the right. Face front. Now we want to see a front double bicep. Notice the hands nice and soft, relaxed, elbows, stay there. When you're hitting this pose, you want the elbows slightly above parallel. If you drop those too low, you're diminishing your physique right there. You're diminishing the lats. You're starting to lose that. You want it slightly up, but you don't want it too high. Then once again, now you're starting to lose the lats and you're losing that shoulder to waist taper. You want to create the illusion of taking up a lot of space in that area. Okay, side chest. Yes. Oh yeah. You have a little more freedom with the women's physique, with the mandatories here, with their front poses. You know, you can adjust, find what works best for your body. Get someone that knows your body, try it both ways, take pictures both ways, and figure out which you like better, you know? Side chest. Good, notice that we want the leg out. Chest forward, you don't want her leaning too much, but you want a slight lean so we can see the upper pec development, the shoulder development. You know, this is not going to be done like the women's bodybuilding or the men's bodybuilding, these side poses. They're a little different. We want the leg out. Face the rear, back double bicep. Good. Chest up. Lats engaged. Elbows forward just a little bit more. There you go. Hands back towards the judges. Now lean back just a hair. Perfect, because we'll be looking up. You know, notice the lats are spread out, the back is not pinched together, and it's open. Side tricep. Good, shoulders even. This is a big ab shot. You know what I mean? For most of the divisions, we're really paying attention to the core, the midsection here. Face front, abdominals on one thigh. Now for the bodybuilding division, we'd be adding a front lat spread. Can you do a front lat spread? We'd be adding a front lat spread. Good, chest up just a little. Elbows forward just a hair. You want to finish with the chest. Everything's nice. You start with the base. The legs are flexed. You know, nice even shoulders. Not leaning back too far. Now let's do a rear lat spread. One leg back. Chest up. Spread. Notice the hands aren't too far forward. The further the hands slide forward, the more you lose your lats and the shoulders get narrow. This is the pose that we see done wrong the most in women's bodybuilding and men's bodybuilding. Elbows forward a little more, finish up. There you go, now lean back a hair, just because we're looking up. You want to create that illusion and block as much light coming as possible. Good, face front. In women's bodybuilding. Oh, no, oh, it's different, yeah. We're gonna do the side chest for women's bodybuilding. Once again, this one, we do not want the leg out. Shoulders even, drop that, there you go. That adds more depth to the physique when the shoulders are even. When you raise the one side, you lose some of the thickness and that depth in the through the chest area. Pardon? What do you mean?
Side chest different from women's bodybuilding. Side tricep.
Side tricep. And then we're going to do the side tricep in women's bodybuilding. Once again, we don't want the leg out, but we do see it sometimes in women's bodybuilding. We're okay with it. They're usually the same to me. Oh, well, we don't, yeah, that's fine. We're going to do a rear double bicep for bodybuilding. Once again, you can close your hands or open your hands in the women's bodybuilding. We see it both ways. It doesn't affect us either way. What we're looking at is the spread out back, not pinched together, creating that nice taper. Good. Yeah, hands up. We don't, but yeah. Becky?
Anything else you can think, difference women's physique to bodybuilding? I mean, conditioning, obviously.
Mostly conditioning, size.
Muscularity, size, but I feel like our current Miss Olympia for bodybuilding still has that great shape, you know, like has, you know, the structure that you do, and it's just more of it, right?
That, the latest, in the last 2 years, we've seen a lot of the women's physique girls coming up to the women's bodybuilding because they have such great shape and great lines, and they're trying to develop just that little bit more because they're on the border of both. You know, when you're at this amateur level, do both. I'd recommend doing both because we see so many times at the national level where the girls that are good in women's bodybuilding are pretty good at physique because they just haven't fully developed in that. And until you figure out exactly which one you want to be in, the more experience you get up there, the more practice, the better, and you kind of will grow into what physique you're looking for, what you like, what you see. And then once, if you do get a pro card there, you can switch divisions, you know, decide, okay, I'm having a hard time not gaining muscle, you know what I mean? So I might need to move up. Or it's really hard to stay this, I want to tone everything down and come back down, you know? So you got to kind of figure out where you fit. And at this amateur level, you have plenty of opportunities with the ability to cross over, especially at national shows now, to do both divisions and figure out where you like to be. And even if you start in physique or even figure and just slowly keep developing and maturing, you may end up there, you know? Do you want to bring other people up to pose?
So I think we'll have all our figure athlete or our women's physique and bodybuilding athletes come on up. Have you come over to this side of the stage.